We're here at Twin Cities Startup Week, and we are basically taking our podcast show on the road. So we call this Spotlight, and it's really about putting the spotlight on you and getting to know what you're up to. So why don't you start there? Tell us your name, and tell us what you're doing.
Sure. My name's Kasey Devine. I work with really startups on the research and development tax credit. And so basically, I help startups either on the technology side or the physical product side get about 10% of the money they spend on that stuff back from the IRS. And it's a really cool thing because about 2/3 of companies don't even try to get the money. It's a $12 billion program. So I just evangelize that and basically say, screw you to the IRS.
I'm sure there's a lot of people very interested. Your ears perk up when you come into the room.
Yeah, exactly. Money Santa Claus.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Is this your first year at startup?
No, so I've been here since 2020. I've been involved in like the SMB community overall for about 11 years.
Okay.
But really dove into Twin Cities Startup Week mid-COVID, ironically, and have been really involved with the startup ecosystem in the Twin Cities ever since.
So tell us about this event. Like you're back after, coming here several years. Like why? Why do you keep coming back?
Twin Cities Startup Week is like a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people. And I like that. It is the Super Bowl of startups in the upper Midwest, if you ask me. But it's also a really interesting evolving community building. I think every single year you find different content. You find some of the same stuff. Hey, there's VCs saying what's going to get funded and what's not. But you also get the flavor of how the ecosystem is expanding and what's relevant for everybody in the ecosystem. So I keep coming back to be able to meet other people and to be able to help, not just obviously on R&D tax credits, but hey, how can I plug you into the ecosystem? But also to understand like what is relevant today and what might I be hearing about in the next 12 months.
So that's interesting. And it sounds like you've got some perspective. This might be a tougher question, but how have you seen the ecosystem for small businesses change in Minnesota?
I think you're starting to see a couple of different things. It definitely is some newcomers coming that have moved in from out of state, and you're seeing a lot more folks get established in the ecosystem. I think the advent of vibe coding has also gotten some folks up and running. We have a very, very strong corporate ecosystem in the Twin Cities with like the most Fortune 500 per capita. And we've got great universities. And so I think that you see some folks that would traditionally not have started a company even being able to come over and say, hey, let me vibe code something. Let me get in on a new product or a technology because I know as an industry practitioner, it's something that this is going to solve. And I think you're starting to see a lot more of that as opposed to the folks who just live and breathe startups every day.
Interesting. Cool. So did you go yesterday? Are you here attending some events?
Oh, yeah. I was here yesterday. I'll be here all week.
So tell me a little bit about what you saw happening yesterday. What was the energy? What was the vibe? What were people getting out of what happened yesterday? And what do you feel like they're going to continue to get throughout the week?
The vibe was really interesting. There have been folks who've come in from out of state for Twin Cities Startup Week before. That's not necessarily new. What was really interesting is day one, the two headline events that I went to were partially headlined by two VC firms out of Chicago and then a VC firm from Wisconsin. So you're starting to see, I think, a more regional understanding that the Twin Cities are in Minnesota overall are producing really valuable startups. And that was what I really took away from it is that, hey, there's a reason to build in Minnesota. We have like unquestionably lost a lot of talent and a lot of businesses to the Dakotas and other places. But I do think that this is still undeniably something, the message I got is a place where folks want to deploy capital because they're going to find really good ideas. They're going to find really capital efficient entrepreneurs and folks who have really validated their ideas.
Awesome. So what inspires you in this when you come into these events? What inspires you?
I think it's the energy. And when I say that, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, hey, there's energy at a great thing. I mean, you can go to a corporate conference and feel energized, but the fact that folks are either on the bleeding edge of innovation in your backyard, it's not just over in the Bay Area, it's literally in Shakopee or Brainerd or something like that. Like, that's really a cool thing. But then also, too, if somebody's showing up and they're not an entrepreneur, they're trying to say yes. They want to serve. They want to do something to be helpful. It's energizing because even if you're not a founder, the folks who are coming here aren't just pitching people. They're legitimately trying to understand like what's going on and how can I help. And that's a really energizing thing to show up to an event and know that everyone's here for some sort of even vague common good. It's really nice.
So you're one of those people, I believe. And so how do you plug in? Like, what are you doing for people and how do you feel? Like what?
So that to answer that question, it goes backwards about 10 years. I come from like a go-to-market background. And obviously, again, like my job is to help companies with research and development tax credits. My job is to help people. And so whether it's making introductions or whatever it is, that's what I'm here to do. And so I'm always trying to understand a couple of different things. Like when I meet somebody new at Startup Week or any other event, it's what brings you here today? What are you working on? Whether it's a project or a problem. And let's brainstorm because you don't know me well enough, but I want to find a way I can do something to help you. It might be an introduction. It might be saying, hey, you should check out this company. Hey, I might know somebody that I could help you cold DM on LinkedIn. My goal is to do something to help that person. And that's it. I believe if you actually do that, one person's trash is another person's treasure. And so the person that I get coffee with every other week might be the person that you might want to meet desperately. And I don't know that. And so my idea is to just go out and do that. And the more that we all do that, I think that we all actually get better. And that's what actual ecosystem is. It is a symbiosis. It is not folks that are beaching off of it.
That's pretty awesome. So do you see that the startup founders, people that are kind of really, maybe this is their first time trying to put together a new idea, are they trusting? Are they a little bit kind of like, have a wall and they don't know who is who yet? And how do you see that?
I think it's a little bit of both. And I think that's fair. There's one side is thinking that when you're innovating, you don't necessarily want to let your baby go too early because people can rip you off. And that's fair. But I think especially like one of the things, especially in the Minnesota and Twin Cities ecosystem is early on, I don't think we're the most friendly to outsiders because of that same thing. We're trying to be a little bit territorial. But when you simply just show up with goodwill more than once, I think people start to get to know you and they start trusting you. So I think that most people are open to a conversation. And especially if your goal truly is just to help them, people are generally willing to share enough information for you to understand what they're up to so that you can help them. If your goal is to sell them something, if your goal is to figure out if you can help me get X, Y, and Z, they're going to be pretty closed off. But like, who wouldn't be, right?
Right. Like we don't all get sold enough on every channel we attend to on a daily basis. Yeah.
My pocket's already buzzed on this conversation with somebody cold calling me from like a probably spam number.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much spam out there these days. It's terrible.
I don't like spam. Monty Python reference.
Yes, indeed. I remember that. Awesome. I can, there was off topic, but upstairs there's like a Korean egg restaurant and they've got like a picture of spam up on the walls. It's kind of funny that spam came into our conversation today, right? So to wrap things up, if you wanted to leave the audience with one piece of inspiration or one thing that drives you or one thing you could think could help them drive themselves.
I think it would be reiterating the point from earlier is show up and try to help with whatever it is you uniquely have and you are. That might be that you didn't go to anything this week and you see this video on LinkedIn, click like, comment something or repost it because like that helps somebody either get the message or helps the people do it, which means that there's going to be more investment in the ecosystem because there's traction. It might be an introduction. It might be showing up even if you have nothing to do, but you're interested in it because you watched Shark Tank 5 years ago. Like that's okay. Show up, be honest about what you do know and what you don't know, and just genuinely have goodwill to try to help.
Awesome. I love it, man. That's a great place to wrap up.
Awesome.
Thanks for stopping by today. Yeah,
you bet.
Hey, it's Will with the Podcast Crew team. Spotlight is a vidcast shot at the Podcast Crew studios in Minneapolis. We would love for you to be our guest. Email us at the email address on your screen below to get a copy of the upcoming schedule. It's free, it's easy, and it's a great way to try out a podcast or a vidcast with our pro team. We do an in-person, in-studio version if you're in the Twin Cities area and also an online version if you're somewhere else. We'd love to have you, hear your story, and help you start your podcast journey. Thanks. Get in touch today.